Hello! Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Traveling Mastermind, the Google Hangout we do every single day to grow our businesses, our minds, and our lives. We put a group of ragtag entrepreneurs together to help change the world and make things happen. And we've been doing this every day for maybe like a week, and we're getting a lot of good feedback. So today, we have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about manifestating because we can give you all like tools and tricks and stuff on how to grow your business and little technical things and doodads on how to advertise better. But none of that's going to matter if you're not in the right frame of mind. If you're always constantly thinking of your past failures and what you've done wrong, and you're always like pouty and mopey and depressed and all that stuff, which a lot of us have experienced, but you need to have your mind in the right place. And today we're going to keep going through Happy Pocket Full of Money. We're going to start with a quick meditation, and then we're going to get into actionable steps with our very awesome guest, Daphne Dugan, who's a good friend of mine. She was one of the reasons I got into the world of manifestating, which I'm still not a professional at, but she's able to manifest a lot of really amazing things in her life. It's just deciding what you want and just making it happen and being in the right frequency with it. And we'll get into that stuff later. So why don't we start with a meditation to get our minds in the right place? That sound good? Everyone on the panel?
Sounds fabulous.
All right, wonderful. This is good. Let me know if you could hear it.
Not hearing anything.
All right, hold on.
Mute mic guys whilst they're playing so we don't get any backwards.
How about now? Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, the connection's up.
Take a deep breath. In these busy work days, we often need to take just a moment
This is some random video I found online.
to relax. Take a big deep breath with me. Let's
You know what? Screw the video. Take a deep breath. Relax. And think of a time in your life where you were the most happy. Maybe it was when you were on a beach, sinking your toes into the hot sand. Or maybe you were climbing a mountain, or riding a horse, or making love to your spouse. That's right. All the way deep. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel the energy rising up the column of your spine like a giant ball of light, going up out of the top of your head and coming back down the front of your body, through your feet, into the ground. Your energy shooting down to the central sun, rooting you to the ground. You feel powerful. You feel energetic and magnetized. The energy shoots back up your spine, and you feel tingly all over yourself. Relax the top of your head. Feels like warm tingles, and that feeling is moving down, down slowly to your forehead, now over your face and down your neck. The warm, tingly energy feeling. Now down to your arms, your torso, your chest, everything relaxing as the feeling moves down slowly as you feel the energy going towards the ground. Your legs and your feet are rooted to the floor. You feel powerful as you keep breathing, remembering those feelings from the past that made you feel unstoppable. Maybe when you were on stage in front of thousands of people speaking life into people. Maybe just being honest with yourself and others, sharing your truth, speaking your vision. You feel good now as you breathe. Remembering that you're here for a purpose, that we have a huge impact on everyone and everything around us. It's like the butterfly that flaps its wings and causes a monsoon. Your energy that you carry from day to day can affect someone across the world and you wouldn't even know it. You are an important part of the universe, because you are the universe. We are all one, and the more that you understand this fact, and the more you think about it, the more you're able to control your feelings and emotions, and the more you're able to turn the switch and focus your thoughts and your energy and your intentions on the positive and on making a difference in the lives of others. Put away your problems. Put away your insecurities. Put away the fear of looking like an asshole. We're here for much more than that. As you're breathing, come back to your body. Be aware of your surroundings. Slowly open your eyes and be prepared to speak your truth like you've never spoken it before.
I think we should add to that we are open and ready to receive and allow any and all information that will serve us a greater good to step into our power so we can help others step into theirs. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Love your, love your inner Morgan Freeman there, Rob.
Yeah, I was trying to channel him. Well, let's have Daphne introduce herself, and I don't think actually a lot of people know all of us in here, so maybe we can go through the panel starting with Daphne to introduce ourselves and tell a bit of our stories, and then we can start reading the Happy Pocket Full of Money and then start the manifestation conversation.
Okay, so you just want me to tell you a little bit about myself then?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm Daphne, and I am an intuitive and a medium. So that means I am able to connect to the universe or infinite intelligence or, all of the energy to help guide people, help communicate with those on the other side if that's needed to help somebody move forward. And I met Rob, it's been well over a year ago at an event in Chicago. So I've started with the self-development, and in turn I've really found my place in my life's purpose, which is on a more spiritual path, but still helping people to step into their powers, but utilizing their own intuition to do it, to not only reach for their own highest and best, but the highest and best of everybody around them.
Yeah, and I think ever since I met you, I've seen you kind of like grow and just kind of increase your knowledge and help a lot more people. It's interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely caught me at the beginning of my journey. So I was only a couple months deep when we met. So it's been.
Yeah. Now you're like a sage. That's awesome. Cool. Maybe you can relay some experiences, some examples from your work as a medium. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's really cool to help people that way, and I found that aspect of what I do is very sensitive to people. So a lot of people think of the Long Island medium, and that's not what I do. I definitely don't walk up to strangers. It would have to take a lot from the other side for me to go and do that. I feel like that's a very personal thing, and same thing with energy reading and I feel like that's a very personal thing, so I don't just go around and read into people's futures in their lives and anything. All I do is I just feel your energy and your mood, and we all get that anyway. We all can tell if somebody's in a bad mood. They don't have to say a word. We don't even have to see it. We can feel it. We call it oozing off of them or whatever. So, but anything deeper than that, to me, it's very personal, and I understand that I have gifts, and I want to make sure I use them properly. I don't ever want to abuse them. I don't want to, I have fun. Like I love to watch UFC, so I predict all the fights, and I go through and I try to intuitively pick them, but I never, ever, 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 ever bet, and I don't give the information to anybody else to bet.
Wow.
And because it's not serious to me. Like, I will have fun with it. I mean, if you can't have fun with your life, that's the entire point, is to have fun in everything that you do. So I have fun with it, but I won't ever, I got to use my gifts for good,
How often are you right with that?
I'm right now. I'm 60% just win-loss. That's what I hit this past Saturday night. But I had 3 of those 6 were perfect, meaning I picked the fighter of the round and the way the fight finished.
Yeah.
So.
Now, that's so cool. I mean, is it just like a feeling that you pick up on, or are there certain things that you can tell by observing who's gonna win? Or?
I try to not. I try to not watch them because then there's too many human aspects that go into it, like body language, and that can throw you off as well. A lot of fighters look really calm, and then they come out and they just dominate. And then there were some common sense things like, the women's fight, everybody knew that she was going to win. It was just how is she going to win? But like I said, it's totally for fun, and but I use it a lot for myself to guide myself, and I've honed my intuition, and it's not something that I have that nobody else has. We all have gut feelings, and we all go with them, and if we don't, we wish that we had. So what I feel I need to do is to help teach people to use that and to hone their own intuition just for their own benefit, because if you're listening to your intuition, it is always the highest and best for everybody involved. So if everybody's following their intuition, whether they're worried about anybody else or not, they are just automatically going to help everybody else out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Okay.
And we were actually talking about.
Yeah. It's a tricky way. I feel like it's kind of like a tricky way because people will use it to be selfish at first, but they'll understand that it'll only get you so far, because just like you were talking about just being happy or vibrating at a higher level, everything in life revolves around that. If you want to have more, do more, be more, you have to be happier, you have to raise your vibration, and everything falls into that. So even people who are coming at it from a selfish angle and are wanting just for their own good will only get so far before they realize they have to change their outlook and become a better person. So it's, there's like that, it's like the automatic safety, if you will. So it's not something that everybody can just utilize and go as far as they want, and we have to deal with the fallout from things. It's not like that at all. It's very regulated, and it's something that we don't even have to worry about. it's regulated for us. So it's really dear to me to give people that, because I feel like it's the manual to life that we all want and we wish that we had. Well, we have it. We just get it one step at a time rather than getting an entire book with everything in it. We just get it as we need it. And if we can use our intuitions to guide us, our mistakes are a lot less. We're a lot sure of the steps we are taking, no matter how blindly we're taking them, because we know that we're being guided and we're given that direction. So if the ultimate source of everything is telling us to do something, why not? Why is it so scary? You know, and it's building up that confidence to trust that everything is going to work out and to trust your gut feeling to move forward. You know, we all can think of a time where we didn't follow it and we wish we did. And, you know, for me, that was when I was 14 and, you know, and with people, so I've always followed it ever since, and I've never been wrong. And it wasn't until, you know, just last year that I realized that I have an inclination for this, and it wasn't just a feeling, that there's actually something behind it and something we can all harness and utilize and hone and practice to get better at. You know, there's other things that we may not all be able to do. Not everybody is able to communicate with spirits on the other side, but everybody is able to hone their intuition to whatever point that they want. That is our God-given or inbuilt, evolution-driven, whatever you want to say. It is ingrained in us. It is a part of us. It is our right to have it and to utilize it. So why aren't we?
Wow, that's a really good question. And dude, I'm totally feeling your energy right now. You have become more powerful. Seriously, I see the fire in your eyes right now. More powerful than the day I met you. That's something that I would love for you to share. Maybe you can break down some simple steps on how we all can hone our intuitions. And we were actually talking about this, me and Dan, on one of the last hangouts over the past couple of days. We were talking about David Hawkins and the consciousness scale. And that's one thing that you brought up to me that we were discussing in one of our last conversations.
The power versus force?
Yeah. Power versus force, and using that. We were talking
Absolutely.
about Christy Marie Sheldon and David Hawkins. And you told me that you have a specific muscle testing exercise to go along with that to test where you're vibrating at.
Absolutely. And you can actually do that for yes and no answers. And at this point, and I really feel like that was a really good starting point, because the muscle testing works into feeling. So as you start working with the muscle testing, then you start noticing how you're feeling when you're getting these answers. And that is an intuitive type thing. And everybody feels their answers differently. But I know that that opened up a doorway for me and started to, it opened that doorway to, oh, well, hey, I'm a little bit more open to this, so I'm getting a little bit more. When you're open to more, you get more, even if you aren't aware that you're a little bit more open. But the muscle technique, you can, the muscle testing, you can look that up online. I want to say kinesiology. That's part of this, the technical term for it.
Well, that's what Dr. David Hawkins does. Absolutely, is the kinesiology.
Right. He's got a formal name for it. There's another word before the kinesiology, but yeah. So you can go through and there you go. So you can go through his technique. He does an excellent explanation of how to do the muscle testing. But while you're doing it, pay attention to where you're feeling it within yourself. I feel yeses up in my head and they're very light, and I feel no's in my chest and it's very heavy, and we've all felt it. Think of a time where you felt that you shouldn't have done something, but you did it anyway and it was disastrous. Go back to the beginning of that before you did anything and go back to the feeling of that. Well, that's your intuition. That is your no feeling. Same thing with a yes. We've all gotten that as well. We're like, I'm not sure if I should do that, and something goes, go for it. And it feels different to you. And a way that you can test this is you've got to close your eyes and center yourself, and release anything that's going on, because your own thoughts can affect what your results are. and it's going to take a lot of practice for you to get accurate and to reduce your margin of error, but you'll get there. And you can, Christy Marie Sheldon does this technique, and it's awesome. All you have to do is just start saying yes, 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 and pay attention to where you're feeling it. And, and focus on where that goes, whatever it may be. It maybe you don't get light, maybe you get a buzzing sensation, or maybe you hear something a little bit different. Everybody's going to have something different, the way that they feel their yeses and nos. So pay attention to whatever it is for you, because it may not be the same, and it probably won't be the same as how I feel it. And then you do the opposite. You start saying no, 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 and feel where that statement is, and where that is in your body. And once you feel like you've got a good baseline for both of them, then you move into statements that you know are true and that you know are false. And you can start with something as simple as, my name is Daphne. Well, if I say that, it's true for me, so I feel it up here. But if you say, my name is Daphne, that's not your name. So you're going to feel it heavy or wherever your no is. So if you turn around and say, my name is, whatever your name is, you're going to feel yes. So you can go through and test like that. And that's a great way to start testing your body, teaching your body to feel for yeses and nos. And what happens is that, and I know that David Hawkins teaches this in the muscle testing and why it works, is that you're tapping into all of the energy. Everything is already known. Just because your conscious mind doesn't know it doesn't mean the answer isn't already out there. And we see this in people who are, we call them savants, people who can do math and are really good at numbers. Well, it's not that they're really good at numbers, it's that they are able to tap into the answer and it comes to them immediately. And, they may be doing the calculations, but the answers are coming at them through the infinite source of energy, and they're just pulling them out. And we're able to do that with anything, not just numbers. There's no one focus. We can get anything that we want. We just have to practice at it. So you start doing that, and you're pulling these answers out, and whether or not your logical, rational, conscious mind knows if it's true or not needs to be addressed in the beginning, but eventually you get so confident in it that it doesn't matter, that you are trusting the information that's coming in. So that's a great way to transition from the physical and our human aspect, where we have to see to believe, into the more spiritual, intuitive side of us. And however long that process takes is totally up to you, and it's going to be different for everybody. It can take some people 10 years, it can take some people 10 weeks, it could take some people 10 hours, 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that you're working on it and practicing and utilizing it. Because practice makes perfect in anything, and I think that most of us have been doing something long enough to know that it's because we've been doing it long enough that we're getting good at it. And there is not any instant gratification at all. You'll get to the point where there is, but you've got to go through the learning process before you get to, the instant results and, the gratification that we all want. It just takes that time to build that bridge.
Wow. I mean, if you're going to practice anything, why not practice honing your own intuition and listening to your gut feelings?
Yeah.
It's like I've been listening to the audiobook, The Alchemist, and it talks about that, like learning the language of the universe without words, like listening to the desert, listening to just like picking up on the omens, right? That's exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, because how easy would life be if you knew the answers to everything? It's like you don't need to know the answers all right now. You just need to know them when you need them. And if you can make a decision, as simple as where to turn. You come up on an intersection, you normally go straight, and something tells you to go right. If you do it, you're probably avoiding some sort of delay, and if you don't, then you see why you were told to go the other direction. And it's, you really can get to the point where you're being guided step by step through everything, and you just have the knowing, and you can just keep flowing, instead of stopping and looking, your stop signs turn to yield signs, and you can just keep flowing. And eventually, there's, the road starts to straighten out, and next thing you know, you're in the flow, and everything's going just the way that you want.
What kind of stuff have you been able to like create in your life with this process?
Well, how about my most recent one? And it's so fun, and this is great. And part of it is being appreciative, and I get so excited when things happen. It does not matter. It amazes me every single time. Just this morning, I realized that I had, after I committed to this, I realized that the maintenance guy was coming between 1 and 3. So this fell at 2 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, man, okay. So the maintenance guy's supposed to come between 1 and 3, and who knows? Like, I need him to come towards the beginning of the window. And I said, okay, I need him to come early enough to get everything done that he needs to get done and be out before this call starts. And whatever time that is, let it be done. And I said, okay. And I went about my business knowing that it was done. And I get a call at 12, and I'm at Lowe's. I'm getting some stuff for a project I'm working on. And I get a call, and I answer it, and this maintenance guy goes, yeah, this is yada yada. I'm going to be there at about 12:30. Is that okay? And I'm like, perfect. I look down at my clock. It's like 12:10. Perfect. Gives me just enough time to finish what I'm doing at Lowe's. Check out. I pull up to my house, and he is waiting. He had just got out of his car and walked up to the door.
Wow. And
he got finished about 5 minutes before we started, or before I hopped on. So that was the most recent case. And that one, and I always, every single time something happens, I always say thank you. And, and I move on. And it's important to be grateful and be appreciative, because it only brings more your way. And just Saturday night, like I said, the UFC fights, I love to watch them. Well, in Phoenix, it's huge, and you go to any of the bars that are showing the fights, and they're usually just packed. And we go out because we're spending the same amount of money whether we stay at home and watch it and buy the pay-per-view or go out. We might as well have somebody else do all the work. Well, we went to one of our normal places, and we didn't get a good spot. We walk in, and there were no seating. So I said, oh, well, I guess we aren't supposed to be here tonight. So we got in the car, and our other spot that we go to is about 10 minutes away. So in the car, I said, okay, I need a spot right in front of the TV, either at the bar in front of the big TV, or I'll take a booth in front of one of the other TVs as long as the view's good, whatever is better. And about halfway there, I went, oh, crap, I need a parking spot, too. Is that too late? No, it's not too late. Okay, we're good. And we pull, and I held the intention this time because it was such a short notice, if you will. I held the intention of knowing that I was getting this, and I was thinking in advance. And as soon as we pull in, and I told my husband, he started to pull in early. He said, no, you got to pull right in front. Literally, as soon as we pulled into the parking lot, somebody was pulling out right in front of the bar, and I screamed. I hurt his ear. He's like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm sorry. It's still so exciting to see that, literally, so that nobody else could get it, because there's people circling the parking lot, and they were pulling out just in time for us to get up and get the spot. We walk in. We say hi to the waitress. She tells us there's a wait, and out of habit, and it really is out of habit, I put my name on the list. And so we put our name on the list, and then I just kept walking over to the bar, and then there were 2 seats right there. So we just set our stuff down, and I went back over, took our name off. And then we ended up sitting next to a whole bunch of really cool people. We had, played some friendly bets and bought each other drinks, and the waitress was awesome. We just had an amazing, great night. And right in front of the Giant, they have like a 90-inch TV, and I'm like 6 feet from it, So, that was, on the fly. And, and things like that. And I'm working up to bigger things and better things, and and just knowing that these things are coming for me. And as much as I want to manifest $1 million home and a private jet and all of that, I personally am not at that level yet. I'm still building my confidence to that. But there's things like I manifested a car. I ended up getting gifted a car with no car payment, and it's totally reliable, and it's great, and it's not brand new, but I don't have a car payment, and and little things like that, and these are the things that I'm doing now, and I'm building up, my confidence in the things that I'm doing, and and taking the bigger steps and going for things that I feel are, just on the outsides of my fingertips, so that I can feel comfortable reaching for things that are outside of my comfort zone, and then reaching for things further and further. And in the process of that, I'm also expanding my comfort zone, so that and somebody mentioned Aaron Rashkin earlier, and he says something that I love, is that he got comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And and I love that, and it's a way to do that. And I'm a firm believer in, if anybody cooks and watches Food Network and knows Alton Brown, he's a huge fan of multi-tools. He does not buy something that only does one thing if he could buy something that does that and 14 other things. And
we got a chef down there, Chef Mike. He knows all about that.
Yeah. So it's and if you can find a multi-tool that is as good, if not better, than using a solitary tool, why not? And I feel that way with self-development. Why work on this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing when I can work on this thing up here that trickles down into every area of my life, and everything else automatically gets taken care of. Something that I've really come to learn across all of this is that we do want the instant gratification, and we do want the quick fixes. And while there isn't a quick fix, we can at least work on everything all at once, or many things all together, so that way we're not feeling lack in any other area of our lives. You get so focused on one thing, athletes get so focused on their sport that they forget about everything else. And they even talk about, when high school kids are applying for colleges, they're looking for kids who are well-rounded. They don't want somebody who's been in nothing but student council their entire time, unless they're applying for political science or something. But, that they generally want kids that are well-rounded. Life is like that too, and we have all of these tools and simple things at our disposal. Things like the easy button, Staples easy button. There's an easy button for everything, and we just overcomplicate it. So if we can, if I can help people get an easy button and work everything out from there, that's awesome. And I also understand that my concept is very abstract, and it's starting from, left field, if you will. So it takes, the right type of person to be attracted to it. And that's the whole thing with attraction marketing anyway, is I don't want to be reaching out there and forcing my message on people. That's not me. That's not my style at all. Even the, even some of the stuff, that I'm not high pressure anything at all. Like, if you want to buy it, then you want to buy it. If you don't, then you don't. Here's everything that I have to offer, and here's what I can do for you. And if you want it, here I am. Come in. Let's talk about it, and let's do it. But if you don't, okay. Well, come back if you want some more information. That's just my style. And, so there's a certain sweet spot where you're aware that there's more, but you aren't sure how to get it, or you aren't sure how to get there yet. And that's where I come in and help push to the next level, because that's where I've struggled so much in my life is that. It's like, well, if I just had somebody who could tell me how to do it, right? If somebody could just show me, if somebody could do it, like show me how to do it, walk with my hand. And we all know that, well, you can't. You just have to do it for yourself. We all know that. But how do you get there? Well, you can have help. You do have help. You just have to develop your own intuition. That is your help. That is your guidance system. That is somebody taking you and showing you exactly how to do it. You just have to trust it. So, that's the closest I found to an owner's manual of life. You just have to create your own. And,
That's awesome. I mean, that's exactly why we're gathered here today. That's why we created the Traveling Mastermind, having a group of people to help each other out with. We're just attracting all these people who just wish they can get to the next level in their life, in their business, in their attraction. So you would recommend, because a lot of people, I guess, when they get into the law of attraction, they try to start out big. And I know it doesn't matter big or small to the universe, but would you recommend to start out like you have done, manifesting smaller things just to get comfortable with it? And how often would you say to like practice these things, like to practice the yes no tool that you were talking before?
Well, you definitely, the more you practice, the quicker it's going to come. So if you can practice daily, do it. Practice at little things, things that don't make a difference, like, your drive home. You normally go, a particular way. Well, instead of taking the way you always take out of habit, feel your way home. You can practice the yes or no's, in your body at the lights or as you're approaching the light. And if you aren't feeling anything, then turn where you normally wouldn't, and see how that goes. That's a way to incorporate it into your daily life. But the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And the starting small is absolute key, because I've tried starting big and starting with all of these things, and really what it comes down to is that you don't believe that you can get those things, so they aren't going to happen, period. It doesn't matter how much that you try to talk yourself into believing those things. It just won't happen. So start with something simple. You can start with something simple as somebody holding the door for you, making a green light, making it, if you're budgeted for time, making everything go smoothly so that you get there with just enough time to do whatever it is that you need to do. Little things like that. Help yourself. Use the law of attraction to help you through your everyday life rather than to create new things, because you'll get to that and you'll be able to do all of that too. But if you can create ease and flow with what you're already doing, that builds you that confidence, that gives you the half step to get up to the full step of creating something new. But it's building that confidence and knowing that you can do it, and that's really the key, is the knowing that you can do it. And you can't get that know-how without having successes. And how do you get successes? You have to start small. And whatever it is, no matter how small it is, even if it's just you want a particular type of soda at a particular store. Seriously, it does not matter what it is. People think that you have to start with all these big grand things. It has to be evolving or revolving around money and tangible material things and getting more and having more. It's not about that. It's about creating ease and flow in your life, and having more money and having more things does create ease and flow, but you aren't at that point yet, so you cannot start there. You're at ground, you're ground zero, Padawan, So that's where you are. And so do things that make your life easier, because when you make your life easier, you have less stress. When you're less stressed, you're happier. When you're happier, you're raising your vibration. When you're raising your vibration, you're attracting bigger, better things into your life. So you've got to bring this full circle. So you start little, build up your confidence, and you're building your spiral up. And you may have to start slow, where you're getting these just little baby steps, but then you'll get a bigger step, a full-size step, and then you're running, leaping, bounding. Wow. It all happens. We've all got our place to start, and don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 33.
Yep.
That's where I'm at. And it took me so long to get here. I fought and I resisted and I did so many other things, but it led me to where I am. I had to go through all of those things. I had to, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't know what I know now. And understand everything is working out just perfectly for your benefit, even when you're holding yourself back. If you're holding yourself back, then you really, truly aren't ready to take that next step, and that signals to your higher self that there's a little bit work that needs to be done before you can be pushed into that next step. So it's okay. It's all okay. It's all worked out until now. It always will work out. You are still here. It will work out. It always does. Maybe just not how we expect it.
That's awesome. you were talking about spirals, and it reminds me of this documentary I was just watching, Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds, and that's a great documentary. Also, I love what you were talking about like not caring if people, because obviously we're all in business for ourselves, we're all entrepreneurs in different businesses, some people promoting different things, and I want to know how you use energy and the law of attraction and manifestation in your own business to create wealth. Because I know you're talking about like, oh, it doesn't matter if people, because you're not one of those pushy people, and people don't like sales.
Right.
They just want to be themselves, and they want to just know that you're offering them something of value, and you're just be like, hey, if you don't buy it, it's cool. I'm still going to be confident in who I am and what I have to offer.
Exactly.
So maybe you have something specific around like business with what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. You know, things like this, you know, get my information out there, you know, and and I'm not a big plugger or whatever. I'll give my stuff when it's appropriate. But it's getting out there and doing it this way, and this is the way that I'm feeling led to do it. Again, I'm following my own intuition. You know, this morning I didn't know that I was doing this. I'm going with the day, and I'm, you know, just being in the moment. And you said that, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's what I'm doing today, I guess. And that's, you know, so that's how I flow my day. And, you know, it has taken me a long time to get here to do it, but, you know, I allow that flow, and, you know, it's knowing that there isn't one big pie that we're all getting slices out of. I have my pie, you have your pie, he has his pie, she has her pie, and you make it as big or as small as you make it, you know, and my pie does not affect the size of your pie. You know, my pie being big doesn't mean your pie can't be. You know, so I'm not in competition with anybody. I don't feel like if somebody else is doing better than I am, that's not a reflection on me. Their doing well is not a reflection on how bad I'm doing. Their doing well is a reflection on how well they're doing, and my not doing so well is a reflection on me not doing so well, and I understand that. So it's that taking that out of it and taking the, you know, I know the universe is providing for me, so I know that, and there's no urgency to, you know, make a whole bunch of money or try to do something before anybody else is going to do it, because I understand that my path is just perfect the way it is, and what I am offering is being disseminated to the people who are ready to hear it at the point that they're ready to hear it. So you people, you know, everybody who's listening right now is ready to hear what I have to say, you know, and at this level. And, you know, and as I grow and I expand, my approach is going to change. The things I say are going to change a little bit to apply to more people. And, you know, but my core message will remain the same. It's just learning and growing and understanding that you aren't making any mistakes. You know, Thomas Edison didn't, he never failed at creating the light bulb. He just figured out 9,999 ways it didn't work.
True.
You know? And each failure led him to more knowledge on how to get something that did work. You know, it's like, okay, well, if this doesn't work, then I know that everything in that realm also doesn't work, so I just save myself a ton of time, rather than, man, I didn't get it again. Well, that mindset keeps it away from you. It's like, oh, okay, well, good. Now I'm on to all the ways that it does work. And but having the confidence in knowing that it's all going to work out and is really the thing. And so if you can focus on the message that you are delivering rather than who you are reaching, that is where you're going to be successful. Because when I've let that go in the last 3 weeks, I'm setting up one more interview that I have to do. You know, I guess it's been 2 weeks now. So 3 interviews in 2 weeks. The third one's coming up, and you know, this is all new information that I've just put out in the last month. You know, that I'm publicly speaking about, and I'm doing, you know, videos about, and you know, and things are coming to me, and I'm not worrying about, you know, oh, well, are they going to sign up for my thing? Well, I don't care if they sign up for whatever it is that I'm offering. Does it serve you? Can you utilize it? Yeah? Okay, well then here's some other things, and if you want to go even more in depth, then you can pay me for what I have to offer. But I feel that a lot of this information has to be free. You know, a lot of the things that I do has to be free. You know, I have, you know, things that are listed on my business card that I offer for free. And they're, you know, because they're things that I feel are public information and everybody has a right to it. And my techniques and the way that I utilize those things are what I will market and charge for. But looking for the greater good of the people, and I know that every leader in Empowered says this even, you know, once you take your focus from the money to the people, that's when everything changes. So the way to do that is to force yourself to focus on the people. Fake it until you make it, and it really does work. You know, because you're focusing on something that is in the highest and best. So that's the only way that you're going to change it, is focusing on changing your mindset. And there isn't any other way to do it. You can just, you know, bulldoze it. You can, you know, you can do the affirmations if you want to. You can record your own voice and listen to it when you go to sleep. You can write it down. You can say it in the morning. Whatever you need to do for you, but eventually you'll get to the point where you actually feel that that's the truth, because it is true. You've just conditioned yourself to feel a certain way, you know, for so long that challenging yourself to think different feels wrong. But
So, Daphne, is that what they call unconscious competence? Because there's a difference. Conscious competence is when you're thinking about it, and what you just mentioned there. Sounds that you're basically putting it into your subconscious, so it becomes a daily habit.
Absolutely. And you know, that's exactly right. You force you're forcing it on your conscious so much, your subconscious has no choice but to accept it, because your conscious mind is the gatekeeper to your subconscious. And you know, there's you know, I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That is a very scientific view of the law of attraction, and he that's all it is. It's just a scientific view of the law of attraction. He takes God and all, you know, and the universe and things mostly out of it, and that it's just, well, you think about it enough, it eventually happens. It's the same thing, but he's talking about that exact thing, that training your subconscious to have that confidence. And once you have it, like, think about your favorite part about the way you look, or the way you are. You know, whatever that is, you know that you got it in that department, and nobody can tell you any different, right? It doesn't matter what I say to you contrary, you know that I'm full of ish, you know? It's getting yourself to that point with everything else too. You know, I have a lot of people who don't believe in what I do and don't, you know, and think that I'm, you know, whatever. But I can't be concerned with what they think, because I know that that's not true. Whatever they think is what they think, and I understand that they can only come from their level of awareness. So, you know, I can't let them impact what I'm doing, and it's getting to that point in every aspect of your life, getting that confidence. And once you do, that's where you get the ease and the flow. So if we start with the big blanket and working on just your guidance system, if you know your guidance system is solid, no matter where it guides you, you know it's the best. And you're able to evolve, and you're able to get the confidence in all the other areas of your life where you're lacking it, because you know that you're being guided. And so it doesn't matter where you're going, because you know it's always the right way.
Yeah.
So does that translate enough into the business aspect of it?
Definitely. And I keep coming up with that book that I'm listening to, The Alchemist. It's a great book. Anyone else have any questions or anything they want to add to that?
I'm addicted to the creative process personally. I'm addicted to it. Like, just like you were saying, Daphne, I mean, I'm so into the idea that I just let myself be led that I don't even think anymore. And if I don't feel it being pulling me, then I just don't do it. It's okay. Because it's not a competition in between people. It's a competition within your own self and becoming your own better new invention. And the more that you become able to trust yourself internally, then the more you can give to other people, because that part's done. You know?
Right, because you understand you aren't taking from yourself to give to others.
Mm-hmm.
You're going like this. Oh, hey, okay, well, here you go. Oh, okay, here you go. You know? You're giving them, you're showing them pieces of their own pie. Yeah, and it's totally awesome. and you're totally right. You do end up taking the thinking all out of it because there is nothing to think about. There are no problems, and I think that you're getting to a level of enlightenment, but I firmly believe that we are here to experience life as humans, so I don't want to get to a Dalai Lama, Eckhart Tolle, Mother Teresa level. That's not what I'm here for. That's what they were here for, but me personally, I want to experience all that it is to be human, and I want to have all my cheats from being a spiritual and being a spirit and a soul, So that's what I want to do, and I want to teach everybody else how to do that. I mean, and it's so cool to just, oh, okay, well, that's what we're doing? All right, well, let's go.
Yeah. My boyfriend says I pull rabbits out of my ass every day. He's like, I don't know how you do it. Because I just feel it. He doesn't understand.
Well, because it's going to happen for you. That's how you're doing it.
It's like, isn't the sky blue? I'm not 48 years old. I mean, these are, duh.
Yeah. It's just translating it from, that to bigger things that, people start to lose their confidence. I mean, we're all infinite beings. We are all part of source energy. And when you realize how infinite you truly are, then it's almost silly to let the human aspect of you stop you from doing all of these great things.
And there's so much room available.
If you could shoot
that well, I mean, when you're that well internally, guided, everything else opens up, right? So there's space around you to do. Because I've never been one about, if I give it to myself, that's all I want. I want to give everything to everybody. So the more you open yourself up, there's all that room. And that's what I really
Exactly.
Yeah. You can listen to dead people, really?
What?
You can talk to dead people, really?
Well, they're technically not dead. You just are shedding your physical body. It's like, like your car is still, like, if you get out of your car just sits there, right? Well, your spirit occupies your physical body that way, so you're just stepping out of the physical body. That's all. You're still you when you pass on. So it's like, I'm sure you have a friend, and all of a sudden you just start thinking about them, and then they call you.
Yeah.
No, I had that yesterday.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. Well, your thoughts are things. So they've sent that thought off to you because they're thinking about calling you, and you got that thought the instant that they thought it, and they popped into your mind, and it's the same type of thing. So just because there's no physical body in there, they're sharing thoughts with me. So we're doing it in the physical all the time. We're just taking the physical body out of it, and I'm just communicating directly with the spirit part. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It's
a lot less creepy way to think about it.
So much creepy. It's just not of my, of my.
Yeah, well, and like I said, it's one of those things, like, I have the ability to do it, and I share that with those who need it and who want it, but it's not something I shove down anybody's throats, and it's not like, like I said, it's not like I'm going to start, talking to everybody, oh, this person's here. No. None of that. Like, it has its place, it has its place and its purpose, and it's not all the time. And I don't let it invade my life, and I don't want to be one of those kooky, weird ladies who you're like, like a gypsy-looking lady. No, I'm a normal person. I have passions. I do normal things. I listen to hardcore rap. Lil Wayne is one of my favorites, and so is Lady Gaga. You know what I mean? Like, I love Game of Thrones, and but I have this higher self of me. Like I said, I love the human aspect, and I love being human, and and I enjoy it to the fullest. And I also have the spiritual side of me, and I'm able to help with that aspect, and I'm going to.
It's all about a fine balance, I believe. I mean, that's what Alan Watts taught me.
Absolutely, because I want everybody to get to the point with me where they know that they are infinite and they can do all of these things. But I also want to be, I'm also here to be human too. Like, I'm human. I am. I'm not like pretending to be. I am, and I want to live that too. And I understand how I need to relate in that aspect. So but the global consciousness, we all are more aware of it, and it's all coming through in all kinds of different aspects. We're all getting to it from totally different ways. Some people really spiritual, some people really business oriented, family oriented. I mean, there's so many different aspects of it, but we all want it on some level, and
that's who we truly are, and we're now waking up to that.
It's in the last 5 years where I've really, I mean, the last 3 years where when I woke up in about late 2011, and I've noticed, I don't know, maybe because I was not, I didn't have that experience, that spiritual experience, or that waking up, that I didn't notice many other people who did it. But to me, it seems like in the last 5 to 8 years, there's things been going on, a huge conscious expansion, a huge shift to conscious evolution. What's your thoughts on that?
It's actually something that's been happening since the early 90s, because I have been, I'm such a bookworm. I went through, I don't know, I was probably going through a book every couple of days last year and just feeding my mind so many things on the law of attraction, because I knew there was something that I was missing. I'm like, there's something that these books aren't telling me, because I still don't get it. And I'm like, so I'm going through and I'm realizing that all of these books are written in all these just different aspects and different approaches. But when I was looking at the copyright, a lot of them were from the 90s. And, the consciousness was so small then, but there were so many books out there, people just aren't aware. And in the last 5 years, I agree with you that it's become even more so, because of technology and it being out there and people talking about it. And somebody mentioned Justin Berengia earlier, and I love Justin. He is near and dear to me. He was, my stepping stone. The way that he was talking was what drew me in and pulled me into all of this. So I thank him every day for his messages and the way that he brought them, because he pulled me in and helped me get into a level that I needed to be. And that was his purpose in my life, and and I want to be that for other people. But it's, the last 5 years for sure, everybody's going out there and they've got messages and different ways of talking about it and different outlooks and different aspects, and we're looking to the internet a lot more for things. We're looking for more people to relate to. I'm sure almost, most of us are probably homebodies. And when we do go out and do things, we do things with the people that we know, and and we're not engaging a whole lot with the general society, the general public out there, because they don't think like we do. And whether you realize it or not, because the energy is different, you just automatically repel each other. It's not a conscious thing, it's not a vicious thing or anything at all. It's just that the energy isn't right, so you just don't engage or interact with those. And occasionally you'll get people who will come up and talk to you, and they're on your right vibration level. And but we're reaching out to those people and we're noticing each other. I mean, you can go out somewhere and I'm sure that you're just like, I bet that person, I bet you I could talk to them about something. And you go up to them and you just say some offhanded thing that that if they are, it'll catch their attention. Sure enough, it does. And then you found a new friend somewhere, and then what you've done in that exchange is you've created this energy there that expands to everybody around that can feel it, and it's and it uplifts people. So we're spreading all of this whether we know it or not, and and with the internet we're able to reach so much further. So all of these ideas and things that we're sharing with each other, we all live mostly in totally different areas, and we're able to spread all this information even that much further. We're able to get our like Google's web crawl, we're getting way deep in there,
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, that's what's happening right now. I mean, look how we're all hanging out right here. I mean, we've only known each other, a week? The event was over, a week ago, Connected with Rob. We're at the airport doing videos, having lunch at this Mexican restaurant. We connected, found out he's in Houston. Then we talked to Dan. Dan's over in Spain. We're still on the hangout with Dan, then Corey. Next dinner, we got you gals on here, Chef Mike. And this is all happening just like this, like just putting the energy out there. just the vibration is crazy. I was saying before the event, my vibration was like, you know, it was okay. But now since I've been back and I'm just like a total different level of vibration right now. And it's just, this is what it's about right now. It's empowering the people, and everything you're saying, Daphne and Val. It's awesome. It's what it really is. I'm like a loss for words right now because everything you're saying is just spot on. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the key is to keep that.
Right?
Yeah.
Say that again?
A big magnet. Was like the cartoon character is a big magnet. We're just like, it's all coming.
Yeah. And we have to keep it that way because, you know, that's one of the things that they were saying at the event. It's like, we had over 2,000 people there, but unfortunately, most people went home and they're probably still doing absolutely nothing, you know, not tapping into their inner self and being their true self because they're afraid of what other people think about them. And, you know, that was a big thing for me a long time ago. Is, you know, always worried about what other people thought. And just like we were saying with Aaron Rashkin, he's actually my mentor. I'm on Aaron's team and All In team. It's, you know, he talks about that all the time. Once he stopped worrying about what other people thought about him is when everything started to change, you know, because we're too self-conscious about that. And like Val was saying, you know, stop thinking so much. Just feel, you know. Just feel.
I am who I am, you know. Do I look like I care? What you think?
Right.
Well, and there's only one of you. I mean, you're special. Why not be you to the fullest and share that with the world? Like, you were built to be shared with the world exactly how you are. You know, like, that's something that we all really do need to come to a realization. We're pressured to look a certain way, you know. I'm going to face it. You know, I've already faced it. I'm not 5'9" or an exotic supermodel. Like, I'm 5'3". I'm, you know, a blonde little, you know, short girl who, you know, has these gifts, and, you know, I'm not super athletic or anything, but I can do yoga and I can do things to keep myself in shape, and those are the things I'm going to do. And I understand that I have my place in the world, and this is the need the world has, because here I am to fill it. Like, what the world needs, what I have, that's why I have it. Exactly. You know, the world doesn't need another supermodel. If it did, then I would have been a supermodel. You know, but that's not me, that's not my place. And being okay with that is for sure, you know, a huge thing. We aren't supposed to be like anybody else. We can't be like anybody else no matter how much we try. All we're doing is pulling further away from who we truly are. Exactly. And the more you that you are, and the more okay with you that you are, and you know, the more confidence that you build, the more successful that you can be, and the more life that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that's the only difference between anybody who's a leader in any company and those who are not is that they know that it's going to happen for them. They just know it, and a lot of them just stumble into that because it's their niche, you know, but a lot of people have to work for it. Am I getting, like, shut out here, Rob? Are you fading me with the music?
I'm playing.
Somebody
knows.
I'm gonna fade out.
No, I'm trying to play some inspirational music because you're speaking so powerfully.
If you're gonna fade me out,
hang out.
Let's jump out real quick.
I'm being like one of those annoying guys from the event who play the inspirational, like someone's giving a speech and someone will start playing like the Forrest Gump soundtrack, and this happens to be like the Game of Thrones soundtrack. So I just wanted to add to your power, but it didn't happen like that.
No, a little too loud. But you know, but that really is the difference. Is that you know, the people who unknowingly step in and, you know, become rich and everything, and or, you know, even just become so influential. Let's not even concern ourselves with the money aspect. Let's talk just about influence.
Right.
You know, when they get there, it's because they were confident and they knew that it would happen. That is the only difference between you and your dreams. You know, it's the knowing. You know, and on the opposite side of that, we may feel fear, but it's not really that there's any fear. It's just a lack of information. You know, and again, that's where the intuition steps in, because it fills that gap of the lack of information. And it's something that we all have and we can all do. We just need to hone it. And one thing I did not mention, which is way super important, is meditating. being able to clear all of the clutter from your mind. And Val said it. She doesn't even think. She just goes with the flow. Well, you can't do that without meditating. You've got to be able to quiet your mind down. And there are many, many programs. One I always talk about, and I love it, love it, love it, for people who say, I can't meditate, I just can't do it, I can't sit there and listen to those tracks or the people telling me what to do. Then this program, it's called HoloSync. I don't get paid for any of this, by the way. That's how much I love this program and how much it helped me. Is I felt the exact same way. I couldn't quiet down. It's like, well, if I only have 30 minutes, I have to get the 30 minutes in. And if it takes me 25 minutes to shut my brain off, then I'm really only getting 5 minutes to meditation. So I found this program called HoloSync, and it's through, the website is centerpoint with an E at the end.com, and they do brainwave therapy, and they've actually, this is all they do. They've put so much science and research behind it, and they've studied monks and people who go into deep, deep meditations and found that their brain waves change frequencies to do that. And we know that they also do that when we fall into a sleep state. So these tracks put your brain into the meditative state for you. It's done automatically. All you have to do is put on a pair of stereo headphones and listen for half an hour, and then you can move up to an hour. And it does it automatically for you. And you do that enough, and you can trigger it yourself. I did it so much that I learned how to put myself in that state. I learned what it felt like so I could do it on my own. And even times now when, even though I've been meditating, I meditate throughout the day, 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes I still can't get settled down. Maybe there's something going on and my energy is going like this and I just can't stop thinking about something, or I just can't focus. I put the tracks on still and I listen to it. I think they're $180 and there's a 6 CD package, but it is incredible and it is so worth the money. And, that was one thing I splurged on, and I was so grateful for it because it has helped me in every other aspect, and with the intuition especially, being able to hone that. And because if you've got so much going on in your brain, you can't pay attention to how your body feels. You won't notice the subtleties because it isn't very, it's not over the top. You're not getting a big band clapping cymbals behind you. You're getting subtle feelings and sensations and knowing. And so you've got to be able to quiet down to do that, and that helps you in anything too.
Is this binaural beats by any chance?
It's like that, yes, but it's but their tracks are not just the frequencies. So I've listened to some of the other ones, and all you're hearing are just the frequencies. The Centerpoint, the HoloSync, puts crystal bowls and rain over top of it, so you don't hear the brainwave stuff at all. You're just hearing very relaxing music. And there's no melody, so there's no song to keep up with or anything. There's no predictability. I mean, I still don't even know what's coming up next. And I've listened to it.
They can put subliminal tracks in it too to create your own mind.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah. You can put your own personal, okay, I want to do this, and
exactly. Yeah. Those things too, the affirmation thing.
Binaural beats could be a little, annoying. Some friends found it. I could get into really deep states, but
try the
yeah.
HoloSync because you don't hear that. It's not the yeah, it's not that. I mean, it is, but you don't hear any of that. You can order a demo.
Shamanic
They'll send you. Order their demo and listen to it before you commit to anything. But it's not annoying at all as long as you like rainfall. It's very calming and relaxing. And because I did the other one too with just the.
That's not a coincidence that you're talking about this, because I was just thinking about this today, because I was big.
Nothing's a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidences.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called synchronicities.
Synchronicities.
Replace that word. Yes, replace the word coincidence with synchronicity.
Oh man.
Because
love
it's just exactly happens to happen.
I was just wondering that today because I've done a lot of the stuff with like the Silva method, binaural beats, like 528 love frequencies, and I'm getting back into a regular meditation routine because I'm doing like a regular every day. I'm doing T25, which is the physical aspect, but I want to really start treating my mind like Aaron Rashkin. Once you quiet the mind, the real symphony can begin. Like Justin Ferengi, you got to empty your cup to receive anything. So now getting back in, I've never meditated every single day, twice a day, 3-4 times a day, and I've been trying to do it on my own, but it's just so, the noise is so crazy sometimes. So now with HoloSync, because sometimes I'll just like pull up a YouTube video and do the binaural beats, but now I'm definitely going to do HoloSync. That's awesome. What is it, centerpoint.com?
I've got the...
Yeah, but with an E at the end.
I've got it here on the chat, Rob.
It's my it's my 5 a.m. thing on my schedule for HoloSync.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you know what? I keep in mind that I am a very heavy meditator. 3 to 4 times a day is not normal, and it's not practical for most people. I'm at home a lot. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of free time, but I get in, meditations when I can. It's important for my, for what I do, that I connect that much. But
you're a mom too.
For the average person, I am a mom, yeah. So I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I do a lot of things. I do all my readings over the phone, or I do them in Skype, or over email. I don't have to be physically with somebody, which is incredibly awesome. But meditating at least once a day for 10 minutes. I mean, you got to start somewhere. HoloSync starts you at 30 minutes, but if you can at least do that now, 10 minutes a day. And if you can do it right when you first wake up, that's the best time to do it, because your mind chatter hasn't started. It's still very calm. And, pull up a meditation track on YouTube just to get the music going, just so you have something to focus on. And put your focus somewhere, whether it's, if it's got a melody going through it, or a particular sound that you're constantly hearing. Focus on one aspect. The point of meditation isn't to clear everything out of your mind. The point of meditation is to be able to focus. And if you're focusing on one thing, you're quieting everything else out. So choose what you want to focus on, whether it's a visualization, create a picture for yourself, whether it's a sound that you're hearing, it's something you're smelling, it's something you're tasting, it's something on your arm. Maybe you've got a fan that's constantly blowing on you. Focus on the feeling of the fan. It does not matter what you focus on. There is no wrong focal point. Just pick something and focus on it for that time. And when the thoughts come in, dismiss them. Say, oh, okay, and let it go. Don't engage with it. Just acknowledge it and release it. And it's okay for those things to come in. Don't get mad. Don't get discouraged. You can only start where you are, little bit by little bit. But once a day is enough for now. And if you find that you've got even 5 minutes here, here and there, then stop for that 5 minutes and practice. Because you can use those as recharging points. And, meditation is so much more than just clearing your mind out to allow more to come in, but it also energizes you, and it's like mini naps for your body and your, and your mind too. So you get energized from it too. It's so, and it also helps keep you looking younger. Nobody ever thinks I'm as old as I am, and I haven't even been meditating for that long, maybe a year. But, I know women who are in their mid-70s who you would think were in their late 50s.
Wow. So,
because they've been meditating for 40 years. So I'm like, well, that alone, sometimes that is my only reason to, my only motivation to get meditating that day. Whatever it is, whatever motivation I need that day is what I use to get in it, because I don't always feel like doing it either. But I understand the importance of it,
I was listening to an audio yesterday from Your Wish is Your Command, which really talks deeply into the law of attraction, and then there was a question stated to Kevin Trudeau saying, well then how do I keep feeling good all day? How do I get to that point, or how do I keep negative thoughts? And he went through several things actually. This electromagnetic frequency protector I've got on was mentioned on it. He mentioned
what's it called?
doing Q-Link, electromagnetic frequency protector or neutralizer. You can get one for like $20 as well. Q-Link for a bit more. And then he mentioned he really spoke on obviously eating right, doing exercise, and cleanses, and that was very interesting because I've been meaning to do cleanses, for about a year, but I've never taken it seriously. And then I've come across his book. Corey mentioned his book to me as well, and now he's telling me on this audio. and it's definitely something interesting. So what we can physically do in our day-to-day to then be more receptive and also transmit a higher frequency, a more powerful frequency. Is that something?
Colonics too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Detoxing is hugely important. You know, we don't always put the best of things into our bodies. You know, they might taste really good, but it's not always good for us. And, you know, and then we're exposed to all kinds of different things around us. So it's good for us to flush our body out. You know, from all of the things that I've read and all the different sources, about once a month for 2 or 3 days is good. 3 seems to be the magic number for most people. But flushing everything out, and it, you know, gives your body a nice jump start and really just keeps everything clear. I know that when I eat heavier type foods, if I eat a lot more carbs, things aren't as clear to me. I'm not as sensitive to energy. I can't, it's more difficult for me to receive information or, you know, follow my intuition because I'm weighed down. But when I eat really healthy and I drink a lot of water too, that's very key, drinking lots of water, then I feel great and I'm ready to go and things are a lot easier. So it's definitely, yeah, definitely huge to take care of your physical body too, because you're an instrument. I mean, think about, you know, something like copper wire. If you've got a brand new copper wire, you know, the signal to your TV is going to be way better than if you've got one that's been, you know, that's 20 years old and has been used forever. The signal's not going to be nearly as great. And our bodies are conductors for energy. And, you know, there's a Rob with his picture. Here, fill me up.
Yeah.
You know, so we want to be working optimally as much as we can, because everything works better and functions better. You know, we can think clearer, we can, you know, we last longer physically, we're able to do more in our days, we're able to concentrate more. I mean, if you've ever concentrated on anything, when you're done, you're exhausted, you know, but if you're healthier, you're exercising, you're eating right, you're drinking lots of water, then that doesn't seem to take as big of a toll and you could last a lot longer. So I'm all for detoxes.
Yeah. Napoleon Hill in The Laws of Success, I mean, my mum laughed her pants off when she read it, but recommended an enema every 2 weeks. I mean, I think there's something what you guys call.
I've definitely had my fair share
if you're
of
doing a
colonics.
detox, then I think that's good enough.
I haven't done it, but I was like, okay, seriously, Napoleon Hill is recommending this.
Hey, I've tried that once.
You know, in the 30s, when, you know, all those books were written in the 30s and 40s, everything was very clinical, everything was very new, so, you know.
Miles got it.
You know, I think that the monthly detox is enough to, you know, if you really feel like you need something extra, you could get those like colon cleanse stuff, you know. At least work from the top down, okay?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I did my own enema one time and it was not pretty. It was very messy.
Okay, well, let's stop there.
This is a great point to go into the today's reading. We're not going to take up too much time because I think we've already gone about an hour. I also want to hear from Mike and Corey, who haven't shared yet. So we're reading from Happy Pocket Full of Money. We're still in the quantum physics chapter. I'm just going to read a couple pages, and then we'll mastermind it about it, and we'll be on our way. So you already have all the riches beyond your wildest dreams. You have it. You may not be experiencing it right now, but you have it. Having and experiencing are two different things. An easy way to explain it is that you have the ability to fly a plane, or surf a wave, or go scuba diving. But you may not have experienced this aspect of your ability. There is nothing you need to do to have this ability. It is already in you. It has already been done for you. All you need to do is experience this ability. In our lives, we are really simply shifting our consciousness to experience aspects of ourselves that we already always had in a universe that, as we possibly wish, that we can possibly wish to have. Even that which we have, nothing imagined exists. The quantum field can form an infinite number of shapes and experiences out of it. In fact, it has already done that. The page of this book is just one of those things. The words you are reading are just one of those things. The next thought you will have is just one of those things. You never predicted you would be experiencing these pages. But your desire to find such words has caused them to appear in your hands. Indeed, they have always existed. You need not predict exactly how things will work out. All you need to do is desire, intend, and know it's possible, and it will be arranged to come to you. Many physicists working on subatomic particles are coming to discover several interesting things about our universe. They have, for example, found that two particles separated by space and time can be invisibly linked to each other and act in synchrony. They have also found that the world we live in appears to be constructed so that it knows itself. This appears to have been done by cutting the one whole into at least two states, with one state designed to see and one to be seen. The one designed to see is then under the illusion of separation from that which is designed to be seen. It is the necessary illusion, a persistent one, but everything is actually one. The whole universe is brought into being by the perception or observation of those who participate and observe. Wealth is brought into existence by you and us looking at it. Your certainty of it, faith, and your attention of it creates it. In reality, it already exists as a probability wave, but now you cause it to be a definite thing, an event in a point in space and time. It goes even deeper than that. It already exists as an event, but your perception of time makes it look away and separate. Once you understand what time is, and how it works, you will be able to bring it into your experience faster and in larger amounts. Now let us get a little bit more complicated. We have seen subatomic particles that exist as probabilities. When we observe, we cause localization in a particular point in space and time. In other words, a particle has the potential of being in place A, B, and C, and D. When we observe place C, it appears in place C, and ceases to have the possibility of appearing in places A, B, and D until we stop observing place C. Well, the new school of thought is studying the Everett-Wheeler-Graham theory, and it says that this quanta will actually localize in all 4 points, but in different worlds that coexist with ours. In other words, all possibilities actually manifest into the physical, but in different parallel worlds. There is supporting evidence of this from physicists who are studying the signs that the universe is a giant multi-dimensional hologram. How does this work? Well, when a particle has a probability to be in places A, B, C, and D, it will not choose just one place to be in. It will choose all 4. But for this to be possible, the universe splits into 4, each one of them unaware of the other. This is called the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. It sounds crazy, but think about it. It's definitely possible. Nothing is impossible for the source, God. Many religions tell us that even before we ask, it is given to us. We are told that everything that can possibly exist exists now. We also know that the known universe splits itself rather than creates the illusion of separation, that one piece can be observed, can be the observed piece, and the other piece can be the observer piece, so it knows itself. One can split itself so that it can know itself, have something to compare itself with, for when it is the only one, there is nothing it can compare itself with, or something like that. Okay, let's stop there.
Who's the author of this book?
David Michael Gagandi.
Ooh, he's that last little part that you read about separating from itself to know itself. That's something. There is no such thing as coincidences. Everything is synchronicities. I'm on an audiobook with an author by the name of Dr. Robert Anthony, and he talks about that and why the universe has created us so that it can ultimately, how can it know if it's infinite without having something to compare itself to? It was just basically just a more scientific way of saying exactly what you just said. So that is really cool, you know, a really cool synchronicity. So Dr. Robert Anthony is another way, another great author on this kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Let's open it up. I want to hear from Mike and Corey what you guys have to say about what we talked about before, about the reading, about anything that Daphne has said. Questions, comments?
How's it going, everybody? I'm Chef Mike. Can you hear me?
No, you're really low.
No, you're
good. Yeah, you're really low. We can hear you a little bit. Terrible. Is that better? Yep. That's good. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of a move right now, so my real headphones and my real microphones. Actually, I got my real microphone, but I don't have any cords to it. I have no idea where any of my things are right now.
It sounds perfect, just like you are.
Good. Well, yeah, no, a lot of what you were saying, Daphne, it definitely it speaks to what I've been up to recently. You know, the whole feeling differently than everybody else once you get into this whole thing and create vibrations and really doing the whole meditative thing. I knew at a young age that I just didn't really fit in with my friends, so I drank a lot to kind of mellow my mind out and not feel like I was missing out on a bunch of things. And I just recently quit drinking and started meditating instead of drinking. And that's helped out a lot. Thank you. That's helped out a
You know, just so you know, it's very common for those of us who are awakened or on the approach of that to have problems with drugs and alcohol and general addictions. It's very common. So you are not alone in that either.
No, I didn't think so. I think it's just part of it. You know, we feel a little lost and we're like, well, maybe I'll just try drugs and that'll calm me down.
Well, yeah, it's like, well, everybody else is doing it and this, you know, I feel normal.
But I'll tell you what, I honestly think hallucinogenic mushrooms, and I've read a lot of studies on it, they actually can help out with depression. There's a guy that in the movie The Substance, he talked about, and this was crazy. He's this like 70-year-old guy, 60-something. He just beat cancer, and he was highly depressed. And in a very clinical setting, he did shrooms for the first time. So to hear this therapist talk about a mushroom experience was pretty surreal, you know, and he had never done it before. I had done a lot of narcotics in my younger years while I was studying psychology, so I could figure out addiction. That was one justification for my wild behavior. But now that I'm not doing any of that and I'm meditating, one thing you said really stuck out. Whenever I do bother to go out, I can find other people that meditate. They usually come sit right next to me, and I'll just bring it up. And I'll even say, this might sound crazy to most people, but I think you know what I'm talking about when I say, isn't it great that we meditate? And all of them look a little shocked, except for like one or two. They're like, yeah, it is. And like, I knew you were into it, I could just tell. And it's just, it's a weird thing, you know. And I've only been doing it for about 6 months, but I've been doing it hard and heavy, you know. That's kind of the chef way to do things.
How do you feel? Like, how is your mindset today compared to 6 months ago?
It's clearer. You know, the business plan I've got in my head has been there since 2003. And I just started really pushing it out into the world in May. And that's right around the time that I met the Unstoppable Tribe for this, you know, they were all in for the Impact event in New Orleans. And I was literally standing in front of a bar giving food away. And I told my cooks that came with me, I said, we're just going to go give food away and we're going to meet people. And they all thought I was crazy. And I said, well, you guys work for me, you're doing it, and you're going to get paid in beer because that's all I can afford. And they did it. And one of the first people that walked up was tied to, you know, the whole Empowered Network. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that or not, but it was the Unstoppable family. They rolled right up to my table.
Yeah, Brian Swan and Rhonda, yeah.
Rhonda interrupted what I was saying to another camera and started recording me on her phone. And within the next 7 days, I ran into them by coincidence, which obviously doesn't exist, like 4 times out of 7 days. So I hung out with them 5 nights out of the 7 days they were there, and I had no idea why they were in New Orleans. I was there to market a website that I had started that was going to help fund this restaurant chain that's going to serve nothing but healthy products, healthier than most fast food joints for sure.
Right.
So meeting them was huge. I mean, I went up there to meet people to market my business, and they walked right up to me. And that was not a coincidence, and I was not surprised to meet them. And Rhonda didn't seem surprised to meet me. It was just kind of like we were both looking for each other, you know? So
I
been
love
great.
it. I love that.
Working the event was amazing. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to feed a bunch of people. And
Best
yeah,
tailgate ever.
What's that?
Best tailgate ever. 200 people in a parking lot.
We are going to do that every event moving forward, by the way.
Well, yeah, well, that's twofold for you.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention, I don't know why, my audio is jacked up over here. One thing I wanted to mention is on October 24th in New Orleans, Alton Brown will be doing his live show. I'll be there. I know you're a fan, so maybe you ought to make it down here. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that would be so awesome.
Well, that's my piece for tonight. This is my first time doing one of these. I hope I didn't seem too nervous. It's been fun. Thank you, guys.
Did you tell them about the amusement park? Tell them about the amusement park we were talking about yesterday.
Oh. Yeah. I have that on my list of things to discuss. So years ago, I had this group of friends that I was in charge of. They would all agree. I was definitely in charge of them. I'm a bit of a control freak. And one of the ideas that we'd always kicked around was we wanted a theme park here, right? And New Orleans was actually looked at by Walt Disney before he settled on Kissimmee, Florida. And the politicians ran him out with the taxing and whatnot. Anyway, they eventually opened up a Jazzland, was the name of the place, and it didn't go very well. Then Six Flags moved in. And then I forget what happened. It was like it rained. It was some storm. Oh, Hurricane Katrina. That's it. I don't know if y'all heard about it. Hurricane Katrina came through and wiped out the entire city that I've lived in all my life at that point. And the Six Flags was like, sometimes the city just kind of drowns, so we're not going to go back there. So a lot of big businesses pulled out of New Orleans, and a weird vibe was created here that hopefully you guys got to experience. But anyway, long story short, there is an entire theme park that's just sitting there waiting for investors to come in and take it over. I've got friends that sneak in there and take pictures. They were talking about shooting a movie in it, which is awesome. And actually, one of the screenplays I put together over the last few months has a scene in it just because I want to go and play around in there because it's creepy and it looks amazing. Like there's grass that's just overtaken. Anyway, so there's a whole theme park sitting there. And Val mentioned that somebody here was interested in theme parks. So yeah, there's one just sitting there. If y'all are interested, let me know, and I can probably hook y'all up with people.
Yeah, that's my kind of purpose in life. My big vision that I've been talking about for a year now is my own self-development and leadership theme park called Leaderland that is going to use the stuff that we're talking about, everything that we're learning in personal development, personal growth, to apply it to if other big theme parks can manipulate other people's senses and have them have a buying experience, why can't we manipulate and design breakthroughs for people using binaural beats and love frequencies and heart math technology that now literally you can hook yourself up to a heart math sensor and it measures the coherence of your heart and your mind, and you can control video games by just how centered you are. Why can't we just utilize that in rides? So that's something that I'm putting together. And Mike, when that happens in about 20 years, I would love to have for you to be the head chef of the entire park.
Well, we don't have to wait 20 years. We can make it happen a lot sooner than you're thinking, brother.
Oh, yeah? Let's do it.
Five.
Number.
We're talking about the law of attraction this whole time. You can make it happen a lot sooner than 20 years.
Yeah.
I want to be there in 5.
That's
awesome. I want to do it in Abu Dhabi or Dubai. That's the perfect place for it.
20 months.
But keep in mind, you don't need to have the money. You just need to find somebody who has the money.
The belief is strong enough here, and you'll attract what you need to create it. You don't need to do it
You
yourself.
don't have to go into debt for it either.
Just have it here, and it's solid. This is solid. It'll all show up.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, one thing I've been doing since 2003 is building an army of cooks and a group of investors that have blind faith in whatever the hell I'm about to do next. So after I open up 100 restaurants in the next 5 years, or hell, while I'm doing it, you and I can work together on opening up a theme park, at least one. I mean, what's one? That's nothing. We can do one.
Tupac ride. You have a Tupac ride coming up.
Yeah.
I'm down for Tupac ride.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be awesome.
Could we have an Alan Watts one in there, please?
Alan Watts, sure, man. There's gonna be a Think and Grow Rich ride. There's gonna be a David Woods Magical Life ride. I shouldn't be giving away all my secrets, but we'll talk after this and we'll plan it. Nobody steal it. Don't tell Disney about it.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Hear me? Can I have a ghost ride?
A ghost ride? You'd be like talk to the entities. Talking to the entities ride. Yeah. That's funny.
Well, hey, I hear my little ones up from their naps, so I am going to hop off here and let you guys go. But if you want to check me out, I am online. My website's intuitivedaphne.com. I'm on Facebook the same way, and I gave you guys the link to my own personal Facebook page, so you can friend me on there. So.
This is perfect. I think we're going to go to, sorry we didn't get to hear from Corey, but we do this every single day, and we would love to have both Chef Mike and Daphne be regular contributors to it's like a rotating panel, you know, not everyone can do it every day, but we are doing this every day, and whenever you guys can hop on, I'm going to add you guys to the Facebook chat, our secret chat.
Okay,
and
cool.
dude, I would love for you guys to come back and share your thoughts, and we travel around the world and go to different events and speak life into people and do what we're doing right now and mastermind on different things, and I've really appreciated what both of you had to say. So
absolutely, and I've got some stuff in the works, some how-to, like I said, you know, there's some information I feel is going to be free, and I'm working on my first, you know, e-course, and also like hard materials that people can take and utilize on their own. So I'll let you know when I've got that done. Hopefully here in the next
we'll be your guinea pigs.
Month or so, for sure.
Cool. Your test group.
All right. It was nice meeting everybody.
Hi, Daphne.
Seeing you, Daphne.
Take it easy. Well, that's it for me. Unless anyone else has any closing statements, I'm ready to wrap this up.
I was going to ask William to come on tomorrow.
You what?
I was going to ask William to come on tomorrow.
William. Oh, William.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That would be, oh, wow, that'd be great.
Because he
Even
wants
more
to
special
be
guests.
company, and, you know, we could have a good discussion.
Cool. Let's do it.
Great. That'd be really great to have him on here.
I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah, I gotta jump off.
All right.
Kiddos eating dinner off the bed. That was awesome hangout though, guys.
Yeah. All right, guys, take it easy. And we have been the Traveling Mastermind. You can find us on Facebook.com/The Traveling Mastermind. Leave your questions, leave your comments. Share this with people. People need to hear this information, especially what Daphne was talking about. That was amazing. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bring your towel.
Bye.